Howdy. I'd like to talk to you about Democrats' progressive ship and how injured workers have tried to get the minimum federal standards, senator standards say we need on that ship just to be drowned out.
Good morning, everybody. It may be the end of the corporate age. Heck, it may be the end of the earth with everything that's going on now, but that's all right. That's all right, because we might have a boat. We might have a really, really awesome opportunity in Washington to have a progressive pirate ship. I mean, it's not really a pirate ship, but damn well looks like a pirate ship. Oh, everybody. What is this running? Some video I got going. That's me. Anyway.
Or is it Slacker?
Yeah. No, that was what that was. So this is the Nina Okatai, which is the name I'm going to butcher. I have no idea if that's how to pronounce it. Good morning. Good morning. Hey, Density, everybody. We got Joe here. We got Marcus here. We got Laura here. But we got this boat first. This is the cover, and the reason I'm excited about that. Okay. The reason I'm excited is because I used to be a boat owner. And those of you who see here, I gotta get all the shots right. Hang on a second here. Too much going on. There we go. I used to own a 35-foot Chris Craft, 1962. It was really beautiful and really fun, except it was made of wood mostly, and it guzzled gas like insanity, and I just couldn't afford it. Those of you who have ever owned a boat, you know it just takes money, and you just pour money into it, right? Or a crew that can constantly maintain it, right? So that's what we have here is an opportunity for a mobile office, all right? This is a GoFundMe. The link is in the description of the video here, and Laura Livengood, this is not the actual page because that's a screenshot, but Laura Livengood just donated $100. I want everybody to drop what they can. When I get paid by Larry the Man, I'm going to drop some money on this, because if we can get about $2,000 on this, we can actually put it in motion. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to We the People. Tonight, We the People meet Tyler Vega. He's running in Washington's Congressional District 6 against a guy who's remarkably establishment. It takes some really incredible amounts of money from a lot of companies that my mom wanted me to work for when I was growing up, honestly. Thank God I didn't end up working for any of them. But yeah, we're going to talk about him. Tyler is unique. He is the founder of the Washington Bernie-Crats Coalition. He's running in the Progressive Party, which is an actual party in Washington, which I think is kind of cool. And he's the owner of a modern-day pirate ship, a 78-foot sailing vessel that he's got some really cool plans with. And I'm actually, we'll just say this up front, I am involved in those plans because I think it's a really cool idea. So please welcome to We the People, Tyler Vega. Tyler, thank you for joining us.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to talking to you about all sorts of things. We've had you on numerous programs, but never on We the People. So this will be our chance to really grill you. Excited about that. Before we do, Laura Livengood is going to explain to everybody how this works. This is an engagement broadcast. Laura, tell them how to engage. And unmute, my dear.
I'm muted. Okay, sorry. It is an engagement broadcast, and as y'all know, because I recognize every single one of you, if you are in live chat, you get to ask questions of our guest. So if you have a question, please write the word question all in caps or tag me so that I can see them, and we will ask at appropriate moments during the show. I will also post Tyler's website and issues page so that you can answer those burning questions right off the top of your head. But enjoy the show, and we'll answer those questions.
Thank you so much, Laura. Tyler, I usually open up with why did you decide to run against a guy who's loaded and just looks like he's such a great establishment representative. But before I ask that, because I think that's pretty obvious, you're a progressive. You actually founded the Washington Bernie-Crats Coalition. You want to talk about building progressive coalition. Tell me when you founded that and why. And what is it?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, originally it's evolved a lot since that time. It was originally actually an anti-superdelegate coalition. Derek Kilmer was a Hillary superdelegate, and it was clear that they were going to rig the primaries, and they did.
Oh,
So I organized a bunch of people to run against all of the people who were in elected offices who were Bernie or who were superdelegates. But where it was clear that we needed to evolve to was this whole idea of coalition building. Green Party meets Progressive Party meets Our Revolution meets the Progressive Dems. The left somehow needed to gel together, or we're toast. And that's what the spirit of the Berniecrats really was about this idea of uniting. And at the time I was a Green Party candidate and the founder of the Washington Berniecrats. That got really complicated. But hasn't changed any. The group now is an arm of Uphill Media, and they are also most of the bones for the Washington Our Revolution group. Strong ties to the Greens, strong ties to the Progressive Party of Washington State, and basically every progressive group that we can interface with, we try to do that, and that we believe that that's the crux of the solution. Is we have to learn to work together, even though we disagree on some stuff.
that's awesome, and I'm glad you even put us in there, because I wasn't even thinking about the cross state relations, but really because you built a relationship with whole Washington and the Red Berets and so many different groups and the different Our Revolutions out there. It's really been incredible to hear what's going on, and I don't even hear the full of it. Just what we talk about in the shows. You recently started reaching out, I know, through Action Network and emails. How have you seen the groups come together? How is it now that we're gearing up for the actual Washington primary?
I mean, it's still a little scary. About we see the really hardcores are out, and they're just working their hinds off, and you see now who is in and who's really in it for the people. But it's still pretty hard to get people up and moving. And fortunately, universal health care became this kind of rally point for the whole country, and that has been the saving grace, really. This big march coming up on May 6th, and a bunch of real close allies from the quote unquote Berniecrats movement have been pushing that forward in a way that is giving us the kind of juice that we need to feel inspired about it. And that's keep maintaining hope, maintaining this keeping the great enemy being apathy at bay is one of the huge problems. And fortunately we're still going forward, but it needs more. We need more. We need to get basically everybody up and awake and ready to make some change, or it's going to be pretty ugly.
Absolutely, and I want to just say I agree with you. I feel like there's a core group of hardcores that's really working hard, and there's some people coming along. But I'm also like, hey, where's the big push for progressive movement? Even in Oregon, where our primary is coming up here in May, and it just it has me concerned that where it's. It'll be interesting to see. It'll be interesting to see what happens. But we are in deceivingly non-progressive states, right?
Yeah.
And that's the other part of the problem. Is up here, a lot of the folks, and this is what I perceive, say, oh, well, we got a Democrat, and that's good. At least it's not a Republican. They're not voting for Trump. Are you hearing a lot of that echoed?
Oh man, yeah. I mean, really a neoliberal stronghold. It would be. I often refer to it that way, and it is. It's deceptive, and that's the way the system is designed. It's this controlled opposition thing where you're going to accept the lesser of two evils, and we've been doing that for a long time. We have got to shift the paradigm.
Absolutely,
toast, literally.
I want to thank you for bringing that up. It's a great segue. I want to read this. This is a statement from your website. I really like this. So there is a revolution afoot. It's clear in the Facebook feeds and endless Twitters that people are ready for the change. Not just ready, it's considered literally a matter of life and death. We see this every day. There are hordes of us running for office across the country, eager to make a change for the better. We are done with the big money calling the shots. We are awake, we are aware, we are organized. Gone are the days when the two-party system can scare us into choosing the lesser evil. Good is here, and good is rising to meet the world's challenges in every corner of our nation. I am a Green. I'm a Bernie-crat. I'm a part of a brand new Congress, a supporter of both Senator Bernie Sanders as well as Dr. Jill Stein. I believe in progressive values, environmental responsibility, and man, you just go on and on and on. It's just phenomenal. I mean, that's about as coalition-building cross-statement as you can get. And as inspiring as it is, we're both discussing the fact that we're going up against some monumental, some incumbents with some serious resources and power. Right?
Yeah. Well, just first to be clear, I mean, that was written in the 2016 campaign, and I'm not technically running as a Green. I'm going to run as a progressive this year, even though I'm every bit a Green and always will be.
It's a great statement,
that's on
though.
principle for the coalition building purposes. Well, maybe it wasn't written in 2016. It doesn't matter. The point being that there is a revolution afoot, and it's double-edged, because as we saw in 2016 when we could sell out stadiums for Bernie,
Right.
We can't get those people out right now, but we know that they're at least paying attention enough that they came out that day. So it's alive and it's awake, and yet it's also sleeping and dormant, because our voter turnout, for example, last year in an off year, quote unquote off year, was pretty dismal. So and while we have this, there are all these candidates running all across the country, and these hardcore organizers doing things like writing initiatives. I-1600 is a masterpiece of the people. Like, people just came together and said, we're doing it and we're going to just do it. Right. It's so cool. And people are doing stuff like that. And at the same time, we are struggling desperately to get enough signatures to get that thing on the ballot. Right. And with the numbers we saw in 2016, that should be a cakewalk, but we're having, we need help with that. Then of all the things that we need most, we need people's signatures. Remember that the pen is mightier than the sword. I-1600 needs your pen. Bad.
Let's talk about that, because it's the first. I mean, single payer healthcare for all is really the first thing on your list in terms of your my platform in an extremely small nutshell. Single payer article, the first. So you're talking about whole Washington I-1600. Explain to everybody what that is, real quickly.
It's a people's initiative, and in many states you can do this, where the people can get together and write an initiative, and if enough people sign it and then it gets on the ballot and enough people vote for it, it then becomes law. We got, for worse, the top two primary, for example, was a people's initiative. It missed the boat entirely, but the point is that the people can still write the laws in many states, and Washington is one of them. And so we are doing that. I-1600 is an example of that, where we're creating a universal healthcare system within Washington. And the idea is that the other states could follow suit, and it would eventually become federal, kind of like Fair Vote, where they're trying to state by state eliminate the Electoral College. This is a way that it can be a bottom-up change with the people actually in the driver's seat, and that's what's so special about I-1600. It is the people saying, this is what we want, and we're going to make it happen.
That's awesome. And whole Washington is a group that wrote that legislation, or wrote that.
Yeah, they're the organizing minds behind it, and they got the pens and they got the people, the experts, and put together this document and this the scheme to pay for it and all this, and now are hitting the streets gathering signatures. I think we need another. Last number I heard was like 300,000, and we've got a couple of months to do it.
Wow, and that just seems like a lot of signatures to get, but
it's a lot. WholeWashington.org. Please help us.
Now hear my phone call with Tyler Vega. Howdy, folks. My name is Darren Ray Fonso, and I'm here to talk to you about workers' comp, or labor and industries, as we call it here in the state of Washington, and about the minimum federal oversight that Senator Bernie Sanders told us, injured workers of America, we need. Yet we have my own Our Revolution Bernie-crats and Tyler Vega failing intently to put that minimum federal oversight on the table. My own Bernie-crats and Our Revolution folks seem to be ran by businessmen like Tyler Vega, who wanted me to seek alternative advice from what Senator Sanders told us injured workers we need from their endorsed Republican, log cabin Republican, Scott Stefani, who doesn't seem to know anything about the minimum federal standards that Senator Sanders says we all need to have on the table. So I'm going to let you listen to my phone call with Tyler Vega, where he specifically tells me to seek alternative solutions from their endorsed Republican, Scott Stefani. Hello?
Okay.
Yeah, Tyler? Yeah, it's Darren. It's Darren Fonso.
Go ahead.
Well, I'm just, you called me, so I wanted to get it live, but I can do it better with this phone.
Hey, look, I'm just calling to, I am hoping that we can figure out some way to address your issue. And the only way I know how to do that immediately is through advocacy. Long term, of course, we can try for legislative solutions, but I don't have any power legislatively yet, and nor do any of my people. And I know that things are a little crazy online, and the response is not perfect, but I just want you to know that people are listening and do give a fuck. We're doing our best and are all pretty, we're all just struggling to make it right now. And I'd like to set up a call with Scott, but I don't know if we can all keep it together. Scott is a good man, and he is a lawyer and has worked he has actually defended people in workers' comp before. He knows more than all of us, I think. Maybe not you, certainly more than the rest of us. And I think we can do something. I think we can make moves that would affect the situation in a good way if we can all get on the same page. So I want to know if you feel like you can be a part of that conversation and have it be productive. And I wanted to get a sense of.
Well, yeah, okay, can I talk now? Was that a yes? Okay. Well, what I want to say, Tyler, is before I go talk to Steve, who I applaud his efforts. He's an awesome lawyer, and he helps the homeless, and he's helping with foreclosure lawyers. He hasn't practiced work comp law in 20 years, and when he did, it was on the federal level, not on the state level, and that's the problem, is the state level. And now another issue I'm having, sir, is that I don't need to talk to him as a lawyer because we have the State Bar Association. Do you know them? The American Bar Association. They have written a letter, and in that letter it talks about the overtaking of the federal overtake of a broken state work comp. No, I mean in there it talks about single payer, sir. It talks about how single payer in Colorado was defeated basically because the workers were not going to have time loss and they were not going to have vocational services. So in other words, we're being cost shifted. And we see the same thing going on here with this single payer plan. And so when you tell me you have a solution, but your solution is single payer, then yeah, it's going to be hard for us to be on the same page with you if your solution for labor and injured workers of America is a single payer plan in one state. Now, the American Bar Association wants Medicare for all across the nation, and we're willing to all fight for that. But what they say, they're lawyers, the American Bar Association, and what they say is the single payer in one state harms labor more than it helps us, and it allows the employers to cost shift their burdens under the grand bargains off to we, the workers. So yeah, it would be hard to me to get on the same page with this other gentleman, but I'm willing to work with you guys, yes. I'm more than willing to do that, but we have to first put on the plate the American Bar Association's report, workers' comp report. Have you read that, sir?
No, I haven't read it.
Well, what I would like to do, sir, is have you read that report and then come back and ask us how you would like to help us. Next, I'd like to draw folks' attention to Mr. Call for Congress, who is my local Democrat PCO captain, who I was supposed to seek help from to get the minimum federal standards on the table. Howdy folks, Darren Ray Fonso here talking about workers' compensation or labor and industries as we do here in the state of Washington. Today's topic is about how I've tried to talk to a political candidate, a Bernie-crat here in the state of Washington, Jason Call, or Call for Congress, as he likes to call himself, is up against Representative Rick Larson in my district here. I have called him out online and the Washington State Bernie-crats for failing our injured workers now for 5 years. And I am doing that on the injured workers websites. And Jason Call has responded back to one of my rants on one of the injured workers sites. And the injured workers site is, and I don't know if you can see it here, Crimes Against Injured Workers. And I put up something about how Med for All advocates tell America's injured workers our federal oversight is being an issue, being on the table, will sink their Med for All issue. So anyways, Jason Call basically responds back to me and my allegations about how the Washington State Bernicrats and Democrats have failed injured workers now on the minimum federal oversight for 5 years. Federal oversight Senator Sanders told us we need. And Jason Call responds back to me here. I don't know if you all can see that or not, but Darren Fonso, you need to stop lying about me. I have had enough of it. Well, Jason Call, I have had enough of you and your lies to my people. Yes, Jason Call. What I am tired of is Washington State Bernicrats who keep telling me they can't put our issue on the table. And that is ridiculous. When you tell us Med for All can be on the table and you tell us single payer can be on the table, but you're telling us our injured workers issue, federal oversight, will sink your Medicare for All. So you are the biz blocks. You haven't been helping us. You've been trying to silence us, call us names, make fun of us, do everything you can, but tell the damn truth about a war on injured workers and the need for the minimum federal oversight. Senator Sanders even told us we needed 5 years ago. You, Jason Call for Congress, and the Bernicrats, and Tyler Vega, and Senator Sanders, have all been silent bullies now for 5 years. And I'm calling you out, Senator Sanders, and your sheep. You don't tell us a solution and did not put that solution on the table for 5 years while you put the other people's solution on the table that would harm our injured workers, while not telling any of us the truth about that. Thank you, and have a good day.
Next, I'd like to talk about U.S. candidate Gigi Ferguson and Moral Mondays and the Reverend Barber from the Poor People's Movement. Here's a phone call I had with Reverend Barber. I also sought help from her as well.
Hello, my friends at the United Steelworkers Civil Rights and Human Rights Convention. This is your brother, the Reverend Dr. William J. Barber II. I'm president of Repairers of the Breach and co-chair of the Poor People's Campaign, a national call for a moral revival. Let me first say a word of thanks to our friend and brother Leo Gerard and his many, many years of serving as your president. His legacy is powerful and tremendous. And Leo, we thank you. I thank you personally for befriending me and for being a great supporter. And we really don't say you're retiring, you're kind of realigning yourself. Because in the spiritual tradition, those who have served become elders of the movement so that they can continue to give advice and counsel to those that are yet on the front lines.
Howdy, folks. My name is Darren Ray Fonso, and I'm talking about injured workers and labor and industries and workers' compensation and how we need some minimum federal oversight to stop a class war on us that Senator Sanders and Patty Murray and Tom Perez all told us we needed as of 4 years ago. Yet today I have tried to get several people on the liberal left and our journalists to all stand up and fight for that minimum federal oversight Senator Sanders and Patty Murray all told us we need, yet nobody from the liberal left will put the minimum federal oversight on the table for the injured workers of America. And today who I'm calling out is going to be Reverend Barber of this Poor People's Campaign, which claims to be getting our injured workers' voices heard and claims to getting fighting for Medicare for all, which is wrong. Kudos to them for that. Yet when you fail to stand up and tell the injured workers of America that Section 801 of that Medicare for all bill harms us, then we need to address that. So anyways, today we're calling out Reverend Barber of the Poor People's Movement or Poor People's Coalition that seems to be standing up and getting our voices heard of the poor folks. And Reverend Barber, who goes to this U.S. Congress and speaks before our U.S. Congress, yet fails to say any word about the needed federal oversight for America's injured workers. So I'm going to confront Reverend Barber and his people today and ask them why that is. So we got 1-919 432 4103. Hi, is this the Poor People's Campaign? Or part of it?
This is Repairs at a Breach. We are a co-sponsor.
Oh, okay. And so you're with Reverend Barber?
Yes, this is actually his organization.
Okay. Well, I have a question for Reverend Barber. Can I leave it with you?
Sure.
Okay. Well, I'm an injured worker from the state of Washington, and I've been begging for help for the injured workers across this country for some minimum federal oversight that Senator Sanders and Patty Murray and Tom Perez told us we need. And I'm wondering why the Reverend, as he spoke before Congress, isn't talking about this needed minimum federal oversight to stop a class war on America's injured workers.
Okay.
And if he knows that we have one garbage truck driver in America die on the job every day, and nobody's talking about that.
Okay. I can bring that information to his knowledge. Do you have, would you like an email?
After a year and a half of exhaustive attempts at trying to get my state senator Marilyn Chase to help me, I then tried to get Representative Pramila Jayapal to help me. Fonso here, talking about workers' compensation, or labor and industries as we call it here in the state of Washington. Today's topic is politics, once again, and workers' comp. And the issue is going to be Medicare for all and whether or not the injured workers of America are going to be included or excluded under the new Medicare for all laws. So I am calling Pramila Jayapal, Congresswoman Pramila Jayapal. So let's see if we can get a hold of her first. Or someone from her office, at least. Speaker.
Jayapal's office.
Hi. I'm calling with a question about Medicare for all that I was wondering if you might be able to answer for me. Hello? Hello? Well, we'll try one more time. I don't know what happened. Call back. Hello?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm calling about, I have a question about Medicare for all, and I was wondering if you'd be able to answer it for me.
I can try.
Well, the question is that it says nobody will be left behind, but I'm a little worried if our injured workers in America will be left behind or not. Because there's like a section 801 that says it will prohibit of employee benefits, and so that's why I'm wondering about section 801 of this new law that's coming out. Do you know anything about that, or does Pramila Jayapal know if injured workers will be covered, excluded, or included or excluded in this new law?
Let me take a look at the materials, and I will try to answer that.
Okay. It's section 801.
Yeah, I know. I just have to find.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's okay. Yeah, someone just showed me it, and that's why I was calling to find out, because yeah, it'd be interesting to know if we will be covered or not, because we're being told nobody's going to be left behind. Yet in Canada, the injured workers got left behind up there, and so that's why it'd be interesting to find out if we're leaving our people behind down here too or not. As an injured worker, I'm speaking as an injured worker.
Yeah. Okay, here we go.
And maybe you know some other section that I don't know, or this other person doesn't know of, that says we are covered, you know?
Well, so I don't know the circumstances for Canada. I'm not finding the answer immediately, like looking at the summary. The intention is that Medicare for all would replace existing insurance.
Right, but it's the same Sanders bill. Well, there you have it, folks. They want to push their Med for All issue only while telling the injured workers to go drown with our Fed issue. They don't want us on their progressive ship. I call foul. We can't help you with our issue, but please vote for our work comp lawyer and Republican Scott Staffney. Wow. So for the last 5 years, folks have had us run around in circles for issues we don't win on, with candidates that don't win. Well, nobody puts our minimum federal oversight on the table, and they tell us to vote for the Republican. Some of us are calling foul here.